So, heute will ich erzählen, wie ich durch meine Forschung festgestellt habe, dass man mit Hilfe tödliches Spinnenschmerzmittel herstellen kann. Aber wie Sie hören können, ist mein Deutsch nicht so gut und ich bin mir sicher, dass Ihr Englisch besser ist als mein Deutsch. So if you don't mind, I'm going to give this in English. So what I hope you understood that I just said is that today I'm going to tell you about how we can make painkillers from spider venoms. And it's not because you misunderstood my terrible German. It does seem like a crazy idea, because I know that most of you will associate spider bites with something really painful or deadly. At least I know that I did that when I started my PhD, which I did at University of Queensland in Australia. So Australia is a perfect place to do this kind of research, because there's lots of these little ladies around in the nature. So when I say little, they're the size of my fist, so we can discuss whether they're little or not. We collect them in the national parks around the university, and we keep them in the basement in Tupperware boxes. So these spiders, they don't catch their food with webs like the little spiders do. They catch them with their mere size, and then they use their very potent venom to kill the prey. And it's this venom that we use to research in to make the new pain medications. But how do you get the venom out of a spider? You milk them. So this is what the spiders look like. If you flip them over, they have the venom teeth sticking out in front. If you take those, if you hold on tight to the spider, put the teeth over a small epi, then you can stimulate the teeth with a small battery. At that stimulation, make the venom start flowing out of the teeth into the epi. I hope you can see on these pictures that these are not my hands. So believe it or not, I'm afraid of spiders. So I let this part of the research over to the boys to do. Another way of getting the venom out of the spiders is to simply make them angry. So I have a small video of how that looks. So here you can see with the pipette, we're making the spider angry. Again, I hope you can see that these are not my hands. This is David. Once David was not paying well enough attention doing exactly this, the spider grabbed onto the pipette, ran up, bit him in the hand. That sent David to hospital. Luckily, David is 150 kilo and not the size of a mouse. So David was fine, but you can see the little venom drops coming out and you can just pick them up like that. So a lot easier way of getting the venom out, but a less controlled way, I would say. So by now you must be thinking I'm crazy. I want to make a pain-killing medicine out of a venom that sends David to hospital and that kills mice. How do we do that? If we look at this venom drop, well, a slightly overproportioned venom drop, it's not like water, so everything is not the same. It's built up by a lot of small components. So I like to compare this drop with a pile of jelly beans. So it has lots of different flavors, lots of different colors, and it's this combined effect that is killing the mice and sending Davids to hospital. If we, on the other hand, take the individual jelly beans, the mice are fine, and that's where we can get that pain-killing effect from. So how do you separate out jelly beans? You need a lab, and you need a very patient PhD student. You can understand if we want to make this into a medicine, we will need a lot of venom. And as we can't have a whole factory of spiders producing venoms, a whole factory of Davids risking to get to hospital, and a whole factory of very patient PhD students, a big part of my research went into how can we produce these jelly beans in the lab so we no longer need the spiders. But how do these jelly beans actually kill pain or block pain? And to understand that, first of all, we need to take a trip to Pakistan. In Pakistan, there was a boy. He was a very, very successful street artist. So he was walking on burning coals. He was sticking knives through his arms, doing all these crazy, fearless acts. The reason he was so fearless was because this boy, he couldn't feel any pain. None at all. Otherwise perfectly healthy, but couldn't feel any pain. That makes him very, very interesting to study, to find out the mechanism of pain and to develop new pain medicine. Unfortunately, this boy, he died by jumping off a roof because no one told him that was dangerous. Luckily for us, other members of his family had the same inability to feel pain. What the researchers found was that there was only one part of the DNA that didn't function normally. Everything else was perfectly fine. One part that didn't function normally, and that part is essential for signaling pain in our body. So if we go a bit more into details how pain works, this is what we look like if we strip our skin off. We have lots of muscles and we have lots of nerves that go all the way through our body. It is signaling how we feel pain, it's signaling how we feel heat, how we move our muscles. So let's say I slap you with a hammer. That will send signals through your body, through doors, all the way through into your brain where you feel the pain, and you remove your hand so I can't slap you with the hammer anymore. It was exactly this door that the boy didn't have. So you can understand if we want to make a new pain medicine, we can just make a medicine that shuts this door closed and we have the perfect medicine. The challenge is that we have a body full of doors. So we have the red doors that are the ones that are responsible for the pain, but then we have, for example, the blue doors that are responsible for the beating of our heart. So if we want to make a pain medicine that targets the red doors, we need to be super careful that we're not hitting the blue doors. If not, we're making a pain medicine with the side effect of death. It will be a painless death, but death nonetheless. And that's where the spiders and the jelly beans come in. Blocking these pain doors and leaving the heart doors completely untouched is one of the things that they do best. So how do we know what color jelly bean to take? I was telling you all the different flavors, all the different colors. How do we know which one to take? I could line all of you up here, give you a jelly bean each, slap you with a hammer, figure out which one works. Not the best approach, I would say. We can actually make the nervous system artificially in the lab. For that, we need another animal. We need these froggies. We don't need the whole frog, we actually only need the eggs. So what we do is that we put them to sleep, we do surgery on them, we take the eggs out, stick them back up, put them back in the tank, and then we have the dish of eggs that we need. This was part of the research that I really didn't like, that these poor ladies had to wake up with my poor stitches. So let's forget about that. Let's just look at the egg, because the eggs are extremely cool. Our body is made up by lots of cells, many, many millions of cells, but they're very, very small and they're very hard to manipulate in the lab. So we need microscope and we need very, very precise instruments. These eggs can lie on the tip of your finger, so they're a lot more manageable size. And the cool thing is that they behave exactly like the human cells. But of course, they're not human, so we will need to give them the DNA for the human cells we want to look at. So in my case, I gave them the DNA for the pain doors, and after a few days, these eggs will now start behaving like the nervous cells. We can then measure the signal that goes through these doors by small electrodes, because actually, when we send signals through our nervous system, it's actually small electrical currents that we can measure. We can then add the jelly beans, and we can see, can we block this pain signal or not? So I can take the DNA for all the different kinds of doors, I can test all the different kinds of jelly beans, and I can find the ones that are only targeting the red doors. So with this, I hope that I've convinced you that spiders are not just evil creatures that will hurt you, that can hopefully be part of the next generation of pain medicine. Thank you.